Hi everyone, I'm Avery Virginia. I'm a spiritual intuitive medium and manifestation strategist. And this is Spirituality Simplified, where I break down concepts in the spiritual realm and make them easier to understand and give you my take on utilizing them or not. Today on Spirituality Simplified, I want to talk about a couple different terms. The first being the law of attraction. There's so many books and so many videos and so many things on this, so I am simplifying this particularly for my audience and anyone that finds it to explain it in my own terms. The law of attraction has been around for a while, maybe decades, maybe longer. It definitely has, but that exact term was really popularized probably in the 1990s, and it's really big in just kind of New Age spiritual circles. And New Age, I don't say is a bad thing. It's the New Age. I love law of attraction. I think it's great. It specifically means that we are putting out thoughts, energy, frequency, and emotions that are creating our life. The idea is that which you think and feel, you call to you, like a magnet. And that is the simplest version of it. Now there's many ways people are utilizing it, but it is really, law of attraction is very focused on thoughts and thinking and maybe even affirmations and claiming. So imagining yourself getting something and then getting it, right? And there is an absolute layer of truth to that, but there's some deeper nuances that I'll explain later when I give you more of my take. The next term is manifestation, falling into the realm of law of attraction, but a lot of people are just focusing on manifestation at this point, rather than a law that is not scientifically proven but is experientially often witnessed, right? Manifestation is, again, the similar idea that we are creating our reality through our thoughts and intentions and our beliefs, right? And manifestation, I feel like now comes more into beliefs, feelings, habits, and patterns that we put out energetically. When I say energetically, that just means, right, we kind of have this way about us, right? It's in our energy field because we are surrounded by energy. We are energy, and there is this emotional content and mental focus in our energy. So when people talk about manifesting, they're talking about, more often than not, intentionally creating a certain outcome in their life by focusing and feeling and believing and behaving and thinking in a certain way. Now, manifesting in and of itself, if you believe in it, would be constant. We're constantly manifesting, and I definitely see that, right? We look at certain patterns in our life and we see the way they play out in relationships and in money and in the world around us. So manifesting is that which we think, feel, and behave, creating itself in our physical and experiential world. And finally, and this isn't a term per se, but it is something that's more of a phrase, and it is surrendering to the divine, right? And so this is more of a concept of, rather than intentionally creating so much, we are just surrendering to the divine outcome of things. We just allow it to flow and to open into our lives. We're not getting so specific. We're not trying to create a specific outcome. We're trying to ask what our spiritual highest path is and just opening to it. When we say surrender, it really means we stop resisting. We stop kind of clenching, pushing against, thinking thoughts of I don't like this, not wanting, pushing back, right? It feels like a pushing back. We stop that and we open and we say, all right, I invite the divine. The divine can be whatever entity or religious beliefs you have, depending on who you are, or it can be your higher self, right? I like the word divine because it sounds fabulous, right? It sounds like what it is. And it does encompass any version that means for you. So surrendering to the divine is a lot about divine timing, just the highest plan available for you. And there's many people that operate more in this than they do in trying to intentionally create anything, right? There is no right or wrong in this. You may not think any of these exist. You may think all of them exist. You may think none of them exist. Here's my personal take as an energy worker, someone who's been reading energy for years, doing intuitive readings, seeing the patterns, also seeing the way those patterns create in people's lives. A medium, meaning I can connect with the spiritual world, commune with beings in the spiritual world, and the ways that this shows up for me. So I think there's an element of truth in the law of attraction, but I do think it's simplified in a way that maybe doesn't speak to the whole truth, at least the way it's commonly presented. So I do feel that what we're putting out is being drawn towards us, but I actually feel that what we're putting out is creating, right? And it might feel like we're magnetizing things, but I really feel that we're putting our energy out into the world, and it's shifting our world, if you will. It's going to feel sometimes like magnetizing, but other times it's almost like you are just drawing out certain aspects that are already there and that is coming for you. But on a deeper level, one of the things about the way people approach law of attraction that may not work for many people is that it focuses very much on these temporary thoughts that we have and then leaving it and set it and forget it. That is great if you don't have a lot of resistance around something, or if you have, it's just a very easy subject. But many of us have deeply programmed beliefs, traumas, stories, limits that just would not get around the, okay, I thought about it, I saw myself, it's coming. Now, if you actually believe that, then you don't have those things, right? If you fully believe it and you feel it in your body, you're like, it's coming, I got it. But if we just sit and think about it and hope and kind of think that, but when we go back throughout our day, we probably don't really believe that that's happening, we don't really feel it, we really aren't the version of us that kind of gets those things or creates those things, then you might have a really hard time working with the basic level of law of attraction. Now, a deeper level of manifestation, I do very much believe we're manifesting our reality, but once again, it's not so conscious as that. And it is not nearly or merely just some, we just sit down and write out a story and then we're going to get all the good things. No, I do think that there is a more spiritual aspect of us that's often calling things in our life that we may have set beforehand, right, when we come into life. That because there's certain things that just don't add up. Why would someone manifest that, right? Why would they intentionally manifest that? But perhaps their soul did come into a narrative, to a storyline that created certain aspects for their own soul's journey, for whatever reason that may be. And when we aren't intentional, when we're not aware, we can come into a lot of different mindsets, beliefs. We're going to pick up on the beliefs of our family, but some level of that may be intentional on a spiritual choice to come into life and to transform some of those energies. But we still can, in this moment, intentionally create and manifest. One of the things I love about intentionally manifesting is the fact that it is going to make you level up and look at the patterns that just live in your mind and in your emotions and in your energy body rent-free, right? Your energy body is really just almost like where we store memories that feel like they're in the physical, but they are energetic, they're emotional, right? And that is for another talk, a whole other talk. But we are manifesting by really changing on those deeper levels. We can intend and think about, but it really gets into the feeling, right? We have to start getting into the feeling, and we also, more than just feeling for a moment, it has to get into the knowing and the believing aspect, right? So there's the thought, the little affirmation, then there's the emotion, right? And those are good practices to get us there. But often it's only going to come in glimpses to manifest, right? After that, it really needs to become, I am the version of me that exists with these things I'm trying to create. That's where deep manifestation takes place. That is where the deepest manifestation takes place. Now, what about just surrendering to the divine? I would say this is the easiest path forward in life. And just saying, I want the divine outcome. I open to the divine outcome. And this is a really, really beautiful place to be, because you are just asking for the highest frequency that is available to you. But I do think that sometimes being intentional, if you're not seeing something coming in your life, to look and say, I do want to manifest that. And eventually, as you sit and you tune in, you're like, okay, what are my patterns? What are my beliefs that I'm blocking? Why is this not coming into my life? I want this. What am I doing? What am I perpetuating that is not allowing this for me? Is it not the divine timing? I think that's when we start to go into, okay, I want to become a different version of me. I'm changing. I'm not a lesser me, I'm a more me, but I'm releasing all the patterns and programs I picked up from my life in order to create something. But once we start to create that, we do need to surrender it to the divine. In order to receive the highest outcome and not be too limited, not too rigid, and not think too small. Because what you're creating now is based on who you are right now. As you expand, as you grow, you might want something different. If you surrender it to the divine outcome, you surrender to the highest power, you're going to get that. But sometimes people that do that often won't look at the fact that they hold all these beliefs that they don't really deserve money, but they feel like, okay, I've let it go, I send it over to the divine, but they will only let in the amount that they believe they can have. And I know that may seem strange if this is not something you've ever experienced before, but if you look at, there's a lot of people who are really spiritually attuned and may offer a lot up to the divine, but they don't often have some of the things that they desire, that they want. And it is when they start to realize that there's all these doors and all these possibilities and all these opportunities in life, and we can close those doors based on whether we believe that they actually exist, whether we believe that they're there. And so it is good to do a little bit of all of it in some way, shape, or form. But at the end of the day, if you want the easiest path to creating something different, set your intentions and invite the divine to take over and show you and see what happens. If you have any questions about this or comments or spiritual things you would love broken down and explained, please comment or message or email me. I do readings if you need a reading, and if you need some deeper learnings on this, please feel free to follow along and subscribe on this station.